Hi, my name is Kay. I'm a poet and a writer. My baby is having one of those days where he only wants to settle down if I'm holding him. He's tired, but he will wake up if I put him down and walk away. So I'm gonna try and hold him and film this because I really wanted to film a video today. Specifically, I really wanted to talk about something that is not something that like someone on YouTube mentioned or anything like that. It has been mentioned to me enough that I thought there should be a video out here just talking about that, and that is it safe for you to have cats when you have a baby? The short answer is yes, but I think I'll go into it a little bit more. My cats are great with the baby. For the most part, he's very small and they mostly ignore him, which is kind of what I suspected most of them were going to do. Their dynamic didn't really change when we brought the baby home. Their dynamic with us isn't specifically different. I think Cora is the only cat who's really changed at all. It used to be that my husband was her person. She only liked him. She was only affectionate with him. I got 5 minutes of attention from her a day. That was the max I ever got, and that'd be if he was out of town. But she really likes the baby. If he's crying, she'll come over and sit by him and purr. She's headbutted him a few times when he was upset. Like, she usually spends time around him, even though she pretends like she doesn't like him and she's still aloof, she's usually around. Zuko, for example, was always where I was. He always follows me around. He's still always in the room with us. He does sometimes, if baby's crying a whole bunch, he'll leave the room, but that's just because he's not into loud noises. He's also afraid of thunder, so that's kind of his dynamic. Otherwise, the cats will sleep on the bed like they used to. It's really not changed terribly much with the baby, just there's a baby in the picture. And I imagine once he's up and crawling and starting to reach for them, they might have slightly different opinions about him, but for the most part with a newborn, no problems at all. And the only dangers we ever had... Oh yeah? Is it funny? Is mommy talking to the camera? The only dangers we ever had were Zuko and I have an interesting dynamic. He likes to kind of walk in front of me and cut me off when I walk around the house. Like, he'll race me up the stairs. He tries to be in front of me, like he's hurting me almost. So he still does that, but he'll do it when I'm trying to walk around at night to comfort the baby. So I have almost tripped over Zuko several times. That's just our dynamic. That's just something he does with me. It really has nothing to do with the baby, but it has been a little dangerous in the dark, in the night, where I'm just like, oh my god, cat underfoot. The only other thing is our two lightest, Toph and Pi, have both sort of tried to step on him before, but it's not like they're trying to, and they never did it when he was a newborn. It's really after he was a month old, and they both weigh less than him. They both sort of tried to step on him while he was on my lap. Like, if I was holding him and, oh yeah, oh goodness. If he was on my lap and they really wanted to sit with me, they'd kind of test the waters. They'd put a foot on him and try and step, and I would stop them. Oh, you talking too? You talking to the camera also? Oh, Kai has a lot to say on the matter as well, I see. Yeah, you happy now? Thought you were gonna take a nap, mister. And that's really the only time. But they've never actually stepped on him and hurt him or anything like that. They've never done anything that could be harmful in any way. I think the most annoying thing that they do is they like to sleep on his beds. So then there's some cat fur on his beds, and so I have had to rewash something just because it had excessive cat fur on it when it's just his head's supposed to be on it, so I just didn't want him to have to breathe in the fur, that kind of stuff. It's probably the most annoying things the cats have done. Otherwise, it's been totally chill. In a larger context, those are my cats, and my cats are super friendly. They're all kind of mojito cats. They all want to greet everybody. Even Toph, who is kind of skittish with new people, once people are sitting, she is all over them. We have some super friendly, super sweet cats. However, not everyone has cats like that. Some people have cats who are a lot more standoffish, a lot more aloof, might even have cats who are somewhat violent. The reason I know that it's okay, even if you have a cat who's like that, to have a newborn around them, is that there are not instances of cats killing babies. Like that, there's an old wives' tale, and I think it comes from the fact that cats really they'll do it to their people too. When you're sleeping, they'll come up and really, really close to your mouth to smell your breath. They want to make sure you're awake, you're alive. They want to just make sure you're still breathing. And they'll do it to babies occasionally too, and I think that freaks some people out. There's old stories way in the past that babies steal children's breath or whatever kind of nonsense. Obviously that's not real, and they're just checking to see if you're alive. It's because they care about you. It's the same kind of thing. Like, I also will stare at the baby and be like, okay, put a hand on his chest, like make sure he's still breathing, because sometimes you're just not sure, you know. The cats will do that, and I think it comes from that, or from people thinking, oh, they're gonna scratch the baby. But there aren't instances, like, anytime you like hear something that you're like freaked out about, just Google it and see what news stories pop up about this incident. But like, there aren't instances of babies being killed by cats. It's just not really something that happens. Cats tend to be extremely careful with babies. If they don't like babies, they tend to just stay away from them, especially before they can crawl. It's easy to stay away from them. So they will. Like, they may be interested in their toys. They may be happy to sit near them. In some cases, they may try and act like they're their own child. That might also be where people kind of misinterpret and think a cat is trying to harm their baby. One of the stories, when I was looking up to make sure there were no stories about cats harming babies online, one of the stories that came up where someone was talking about their baby kind of had been harmed by the cat. The cat had grabbed the baby and pulled it off the couch and ended up getting scratches on its face from that. They said the cat would attack them. It wouldn't attack the baby, it would attack them when they tried to then reach for and comfort the baby. And all of the descriptions they were giving made it sound like the cat thought that the baby was its kitten and was trying to stop the owners from touching its baby. It had decided the baby was its, and it was going to take care of its kitten, basically. And it wasn't going to allow someone else to take care of the kitten. Now, I don't know what their dynamic is, that the cat thought that this newly adopted kitten of its was something that the owners couldn't touch, that didn't trust them to touch its baby. But it was treating the baby very much how it would treat a kitten. It was trying to move it from one location to another. My cats, even Boomy, who is quite a bit bigger than Kai, he would not have an easy time trying to move my baby to another location. Baby's too big for him. So if he tried to, it wouldn't go too well, you know? Like, pull him off the couch. With a kitten, it would be fine. With a baby, it's not. It kind of makes me think of the story about Sigmund and Roy. Sigmund and Roy was like a big magic show that employed big cats. This is a thing from like the 90s, was it? It's something that like I grew up knowing about, and that maybe if you're a younger person you may have never even heard of them because they're not really a thing anymore. Having big cats in a stage production, people are like, that's not okay, and this is really why. Sigmund and Roy were kind of the big act that had the big cats, and one day one of the tigers attacked Roy and ended up breaking his neck. I will say he has always maintained, the one whose neck got broken by the cat has always maintained that the cat was trying to protect him that day. His tiger got freaked out by something in the audience and tried to treat him very much like a kitten. Now, if a tiger has a tiger kitten and wants to move it to another location for safety, it's going to grab it by its head or by the scruff of its neck and drag it away. Now, with humans, we don't have bodies that are set up for that. That can really hurt us. And so when the tiger grabbed him by the neck to try and move him to safety, she felt it broke his neck. He's always maintained that no, she was not trying to hurt him. She would never try to hurt him. She was trying to protect him. Incidentally, he is not a kitten. And I think the fact that he's maintained that, the one who was the tiger trainer, really says a lot about the truth of that statement. Cats can be misinformed about how a baby is, but their intentions are good. Cats for the most part like babies. Cats for the most part want to treat babies like part of the family, and they're going to treat them very much how they're treating the rest of the family. Very much whatever your dynamic is with your cat, it's probably not going to be that different with the baby. Whatever your cat's dynamic is with other cats, it probably won't be that different from the baby. Oh, we're just being a koala today, huh? So fears about cats not being okay around baby is really just sort of unfounded. There's no reason to be afraid that a cat is going to in some way harm your newborn. I think there's probably more instances of dogs harming a baby, but I know that's something, but again, it's going to have to do a lot with how your dynamic is with your pet already. Like, is your pet safe around you? Are they safe around other animals like them? And if they're not, then maybe they aren't safe around a baby. And this is much more dogs than cats. Even cats who fight with other cats typically are not harming babies. Again, there's no stories of it. There's no instances of this happening that I could find. So it's not something to worry about. Dogs harming children is something that has happened. And I think in terms of just straight harm, cats are more likely to swat at and scratch a baby if the baby is trying to hurt them. If you type in babies being hurt by cats, an overwhelming number of articles is like what to do if your child won't stop hitting your cat. Cats will then turn around and tell the child to stop on their own way, which would be probably swatting them and maybe scratching them with claws. Again, this is something that you can teach a behavior to your child to not bother the kitty and then solve the entire issue. Encouraging a child to continue to bother an animal is when then that animal will escalate their defense mechanisms and be like, okay, the message isn't getting through. How about I tell you a little bit more aggressively? So you stepping in and teaching your child not to pull the kitty's tail, not to whack the kitty, that would then be the thing that would completely solve the issue. Because again, a cat is going to leave a baby alone if they don't like the baby. They're not going to seek and destroy. Dogs possibly could be a little bit different. Dogs are a very different thing, but I guess I just don't understand people who have a family pet and then when they're pregnant and they're going to have a baby, they're like, okay, giving up the family pet. Like, to me, that's insanity. But I did work at a veterinary clinic and that was not an uncommon thing. One of my friends, one of her dogs, she had gotten because the owner had gotten pregnant and had decided they weren't going to have, it was just a Pomeranian. They were going to have their Pomeranian around the baby. Some people go the other side and they're like, we're going to get a new puppy when we have a new baby because I want to raise 2 babies at the same time and potty train 2 babies at the same time. That's crazy too. Don't raise a puppy with your baby. Like, don't do that to yourself. Don't be crazy and do that to yourself. That's going to be so much work. Like, don't raise extra babies. Either get an adult dog or just wait until the baby is old enough to like help to like take care of a puppy too. That just seems like a more of a reasonable idea, right? Kittens too, they might be more independent than puppies, but it's not a great idea to just get newborns when you have a newborn. That's my soapbox there. People do give up animals. There would be people who would be, for example, getting their vaccines updated for their pet, not because they want to get the vaccines updated, you know, it's for the cat's health or the dog's health, but because they were going to rehome them because of their children, because they are having a baby. And to me, it doesn't make sense. I think there's just a stigma also. People just don't really understand. You don't have to have a perfectly sterile environment for a baby. It's very healthy for them to grow up with pets. They're less likely to develop allergies later down the road. They're less likely to form bad habits around other animals as well. Like, it is very healthy for their development to have pets around. If you already have pets in your family who you consider family, like, why would you give them up then, class them suddenly lower because you're bringing a new person into the world, a person who could very much benefit from having the companionship of some pets? So that's kind of just the soapbox I wanted to talk about today. It's just that cats are perfectly safe around babies. I think we're getting a little bit fussy, so we'll finish up here. I just wanted to talk about that today and kind of talk about our experiences that cats are completely fine with babies. Even if you have 5 cats in the house and 1 baby, the fur is the biggest issue. Vacuum often, wash things often, and you'll be okay. Like, it's not something to worry about at all. Our cats have been great with him. Okay, we're going to sign off because we need to change our diaper and eat now. Bye-bye. Oh, all the big boys. Yeah.